Good day, everyone. This is Bob Roswick with the Bismarck Air Museum, and with me today is Tom Trousdale, our docent, to talk about the Boeing 247. How are you doing today, Tom?
I'm doing good, Bob.
All right, another picture of the airplane, and the reason I had a lot of questions about the windshield, if you look at this windshield, it is different.
It is different. This is the modified windshield, and they also then back there you notice that they had tracks. You could open up the side window also, because the one thing that the pilots complained about after they modified the windshield was that they still couldn't slide a window open to get rid of snow or frost that came onto the windshield. So they put sliding tracks on it, and you could slide the pilot's side cockpit window open to get rid of the snow and so on. The other two things that are interesting, look at the top of the roof there. That is the emergency escape hatch thing on the top there. That was the pilot's escape hatch. The pilots, I think there was an accident or so that caused them to worry because, and we'll get to that, to get out of the aircraft after it had crashed. The pilots survived, but they had to stumble their way back through the darkened passenger cabin, and they had to climb stairs and go downstairs, as silly as it sounds, to get out of the aircraft. So they demanded that a escape hatch be put in the passenger roof. And talking about escape hatches, we go back there, and you're circling that one. That was also the first passenger aircraft that had an emergency escape hatch built into the airplane for the same reason, that rather than waste time trying to hunt for the door in a darkened cabin, you could just pop the escape hatch and get out.
All right. And here's the United Airlines colors. A little bit of blurry picture, but this is the original paint scheme.
This is the original paint scheme. The original paint scheme was all gray except for United Airlines in red, and then the decal that said United Airlines Mainline Airway. That was it. This is actually the second paint scheme. This is when United Airlines, because they were flying the 247 and flying it darn good, as you can see there, they don't have the ears on it that it flew, do they?
1942.
Oh, yeah. This was in the 40s. They painted it up because, again, in 42, this was still a premier aircraft. This was still a mainline aircraft, and the other aircraft at this time, our friend the DC-3, basically wasn't painted up. It came out in an all basic silver or aluminum finish.
This is an interesting picture because this talks a little bit about the nose cone and where the baggage area is underneath the pilot, and a little bit of the seating arrangement, and again, baggage in the back.
Yeah, the baggage, there was the thing that about a 247, again, you wanted to balance it. It was the first aircraft that you had to have weight and balance. In other words, so you maintain the center of gravity with the aircraft. And that's why the main heavy stuff went in the front. The lighter stuff went in the smaller compartment in the back. As you can see there, the stewardess has a little kitchen area that she serves food out of also. This was the famous era of fried chicken dinners on every airline flight that you flew, because that's basically all that they had. The chicken was fried on the ground and served in the air.
So the interesting thing is we compare this to where we started this series with the DC-3. The DC-3 was labeled the first aircraft that could make money carrying passengers. And I think that this plane demonstrates that the way that they made money back then was mail and freight.
This plane demonstrates the way that they'd made money back then was mail and freight, and again, because of the small passenger capacity that you had, you broke even or maybe made a little bit of a profit. But the name of the game is buns on seats, so to speak, and that is people occupying aircraft seats. And you want to have enough that you not only make money, but break even, but that you make money. And the DC-3 was the first airplane that made money solely by hauling passengers, not mail and freight.
All right, so this is our little cockpit, and it is small.
Very small, but you can see it has every conceivable function that you would ever need. You can see, again, because it is a tailwheel aircraft, it is quite hard to see out the front, so that had to be taxied in a big S taxi pattern, but you can see it's a fairly modern aircraft also.
All right, and again, we always look for the modern instrumentation, but this is pretty original. I don't even see fancy radio in here.
No, I don't either. I really don't.
All right, so this is a little bit of a picture of the interior, and this interior has got a couple of features that Tom's pointed out to me in the past, and it mostly involves the floor here.
They tried to sell this to one airline, and the president of the airline liked it. He thought it was because it looks like a nice aircraft. You know, it's got overhead storage space, it's got window shades, it's got a nice color scheme, and he was walking forward and he tripped over this. Move the arrow there, Bob. What we're talking about is a wing brace. That is the main brace of the wing that goes through the aircraft. He tripped over that, and then he walked a little bit further, and the main brace of the aircraft is here, and you'll notice it has steps going over it. And he tripped over that, and he says, well, we'll buy this airplane, he says, but the first thing we're going to do is get rid of that damn step and the braces in here.
That would have proved successful, I'm sure.
Yeah. The first time you'd have flown, the wings would have come off.
But an interesting thing how basically Boeing could make an aircraft that actually had a spar that went through the cabin.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, we have a picture here, and we were both enamored with this picture until we realized that it's actually...
Someone's darn good at drawing here. It's a shot of a 247 that's landing, probably in Seattle for the Seattle Air and Space Museum, because that is the color that the aircraft is hanging at in the Air and Space Museum.
But we both think this is a drawing, and here's the real deal.
Yeah, this is the real deal, and this is the 247, and the only other thing that is interesting to me is United Airlines, for every time that they had a piston-engined aircraft, they always painted the tips of the propellers red, white, and blue, and you can really notice that on this aircraft as it's climbing towards you. You can see the prop tips that have been painted.
Another interesting feature on this picture that I really get a kick out of, because this is how we started our program with the city of Bismarck and DC-3, and this is the city of Renton.
Yes, excuse me, United Airlines named every one of their aircraft. They named them city, or later on it was mainliner. Mainliner Denver, Mainliner Seattle, Mainliner Fresno. American Airlines named their aircraft. They were called flagship, because American Airlines in the early days suspended an American flag from the cockpit when they taxied around. Their aircraft were called flagship. Flagship Philadelphia, flagship Chicago, flagship Los Angeles. TWA named their aircraft Skyliners. Skyliner Los Angeles, Skyliner Phoenix, Skyliner Albuquerque. Going even down to North Central Airlines. North Central Airlines just named their aircraft Northliner. They did not name any after any cities. It was just named Northliners. And Frontier was named theirs Sunliners. And believe it or not, I have a picture of a Frontier Convair 340 sitting in the rain, and it is named Sunliner Mandan. So we'll have to hunt that up and do a little discussion on that.
All right, so the city of Bismarck DC-3 is going to definitely get overshadowed by a Convair, yes. A couple things on this picture too. We have the windows that slide back. We have the windshield, the front windshield that's actually canted back towards the airplane. And we did probably lose our wire that went from the front. Although this might be this might be where it starts and goes to the tail. I was thinking that our radios have probably been updated in this aircraft, and we lost our main antenna wire to the tail. but a nice picture. Well, the Bismarck Air Museum Foundation is trying to capture and restore the large round-top hangar at the Bismarck Airport, known as Hangar Number 5. Log on to our website at bismarckairmuseum.org and check it out. Give us a donation on that site. Subscribe to this site on YouTube. I'd like to credit Bismarck Airport, Wikipedia, and Young Eagles EAA for pictures that we use today. Once again, I'd like to thank you, Tom, for helping us understand these iconic photos.
Always fun, Bob.
Thanks, Tom.